Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jael for those of you that may not know, and today's video is going to be super exciting because we are doing a full face drugstore slash affordable makeup transformation. I'm going to show you guys how I got this absolutely stunning look, and we are just going to have some fun. If you guys are interested in finding out the steps to get this look, all the little secrets and details, please keep watching. So we were having a cute little voiceover moment because if we didn't, we would be here forever and ain't nobody got time for that. So I already have my lids primed and I'm just going in with the Tropical Twilight palette from Makeup Revolution in partnership with Tammi. And I'm just using packing motions to pat out and map the shape that I want for my eye with the shade Twilight. Then I'm going to go into her Tropical Carnival palette with Makeup Revolution as well and pick up the shade Navy. Now this shade is actually a little bit more indigo, so the purple tones of that like purple base that it has, it's matching well with the shade Twilight and it's giving me more of a deeper purpley base, which is what I'm looking for. Going in with the shade Twilight again, I'm just going to start pressing along the edges of that shadow and just start to diffuse everything. As you guys can see, I'm just sticking to the pressing motions. I have not even begun to use any sweeping or circular motions. I'm just staying with the pressing. Now going into my Profusion Mattes palette, I'm picking up the shade Go Girl, and now I will start doing those small circular motions to start blending out that shade. I'm going to just lightly blend that out, keeping it as close to that deeper purple shade as possible. I'm working in little sections and smaller motions. I cut out a lot of blending for this look, but I just want you guys to know this look requires some patience because you do really need to make sure everything is super seamlessly blended. Next, I'm going back into the Tropical Carnival palette and I'm picking up the shade Pink Panther. This is going to allow me to really make that pink pop and stand out even more. By the way, this look is inspired by a look that Katie Michaelis did. It's a little bit different, but I did love the shades and tones that she did, so I tried to match those as much as possible, but I put my own little spin on it. So I will have her original look linked down below if you guys are interested in seeing that as well. Now back into the Tropical Twilight palette, I'm going to take the shade Dusk and I'm just going to start patting that on my brow bone area right above the shadow. Now this part is really important because you can make it look a little bit like a bruised eye, which is not what you want at all. So I'm using a completely different brush. I'm making sure to not use any blending motions as far as swiveling back and forth or doing little circular motions. I am patting everything out and I'm really taking my time to make sure that everything is diffused and it's soft, and then I'm going to go back in with another color and blend between those lines. This is just going to give me a little bit more control and make sure that the colors don't get away from me. You're naturally going to get kind of like an orangey brown transition, but this is just going to make it a lot easier and softer so that you're not going kind of crazy and losing control of the color. And as you guys can see, I just went back in with that Pink Panther shade, and this just really helped me to blend everything together and make it more seamless and give it a very pretty sunset effect. Now, in this shade, you really need to take your time. Again, work in sections and just blend, blend, blend. Now I'm going to start cutting the crease. I've been liking doing little patting motions to cut the crease as well, just to at least map everything out. And I like to do both eyes and then go back and correct any mistakes before I try and complete an entire eye with the shimmers or shadows, whatever I'm using. I like to just map out both cut creases first so that I know exactly what I'm doing and that I also know that they look as similar as possible. And what I'm doing right now is just cleaning them up to make them look more similar in my eyes. Then I'm picking up a Q-tip and I just put a little bit of micellar water on there and I'm removing most of that base of that cut crease. The reason I'm doing this is because I want to have as blank of a canvas as possible for the look that I'm doing. So I'm just removing a lot of the excess shadow, and then I'm just picking up those shades that I already went in with, those deeper shades, into the lighter ones, and I'm just reinforcing everything now that I have the cut crease shape out there. I can go back in and just deepen everything up and make sure everything is super blended. As you guys can see, I'm now going in circular motions rather than just the patting motions, and this is going to really increase the blend and also give me a little bit more depth in that area, which is what I want. Then just cleaning up that area again with, you know, the Q-tip, making sure I don't have any of the excess shadow. I'm going to follow that up by recutting the crease, and now I can identify any areas that I might have missed before when I was cutting the crease and just make it look as sharp and correct as possible. And then you guys kind of know the drill. You have to blend the edges to make sure everything matches. So I'm just going in order of the shades that I laid down, and I'm just going to start packing those onto the lid. Now, I started off by not doing patting motions, which was my mistake because it didn't blend the way that I wanted to at first. Then I realized my error, and I went back and just started packing everything in, and it looked absolutely beautiful. And you guys will notice that I did again follow the same step of putting that yellow down first and then going back in with that pink shade to really give it that extra blend. And then following on top, I'm going to be taking this Profusion liquid liner, or glitter liner rather. It is so beautiful. They actually do have like those glitter shadows, kind of like Stila, but I use this one because that's what I had on hand and it just looked beautiful. My camera did stop recording at some point, but I basically just reblended the pink shade on the edges and it just was the most beautiful look. I love it. All right, you guys, so we are pretty much done with the eyes. We're gonna go back and do lashes and lower lash line later, but for right now, we're gonna move on to the rest of the face. So I forgot to fill in my brows. Actually, I was thinking I would try to fill in my brows afterwards, and then I just completely forgot that I hadn't done them. So I wanna just fill in my brows a bit, and then we're gonna go in, prime the face, and finish up the rest of the look. So I'm going to go in with my e.l.f. Ultra Precise Brow Pencil in the shade Brunette. Okay, and for the brow gel, I'm going with the Tinted Brow Mascara from NYX in the shade Chocolate. All right, so at this point, this is pretty much as good as it's going to get for the brows. So I'm gonna go in with my favorite like e.l.f. cocktail for priming, which is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer in my T-zone and the e.l.f. JellyPop Dew Primer on the rest of my face. I like to use setting sprays while I'm doing my makeup from like part to part. So I'm going to be picking up this Morphe Continuous Setting Mist, and I'm just going to spritz my face, but I'm going to cover my eyes so that I don't like risk messing up anything. And I like to just use that. Sometimes it's just like a primer, you know, just to make sure everything is looking good together. Okay, for foundation today, I'm going in with my e.l.f. Cosmetics Flawless Foundation. Words. Okay, for foundation today, I'm going in with the e.l.f. Cosmetics Flawless Finish Foundation in the shade Maple. This is such a beautiful foundation. It looks really pretty on camera. If you guys are wondering about like taking photography with it, filming, it's a really pretty foundation, and they have a pretty nice shade range on this as well. And I would say the finish on this foundation is like a medium to full. It's definitely buildable, and you can probably sheer it down very easily with a little bit of moisturizer or whatever, but it's a pretty dope foundation. For concealer today, we're going to start off with a little bit of a corrective concealer. This is the Ruby Kisses Pure Mineral High Definition Smart Blend Concealer in the shade Rich Beige. I had to switch my camera card out so it didn't catch me blending out that corrective concealer, but that's all right because we have more concealer to go through. Okay, so this is going to actually feel like quite a lot of product, but it really isn't because I'm just using a teensy amount. But I'm going to go in with two more concealers. This one is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer, and I'm going to take literally the tiniest dab of the shade Light Beige. And the only reason I'm doing that is because this eye look is very dramatic, and when I have a more dramatic eye look, I like to have just a little bit of extra light under the eye. I feel like it just kind of adds something, makes it look a little bit more polished. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm adding literally just a dot here and a dot here, dot here, and a dot here. This concealer is also one that you don't need a lot of, but it just, you know, it's just gonna blend and give me like a nice little bit of light there. So again, this is the shade Light Beige, and I am just gonna blend that out. And as you guys can see, it's super light under my eyes, but the corrective concealer, I really use that more as a corrector itself than just a concealer. It's just one that happens to be closer to my skin tone, and that just is going to make this kind of less potent, if you will. It's still going to add that bit of light, but it won't just be as in your face. Now I could totally stop here, but it just doesn't feel complete to me. So I'm going to take my actual concealer shade, which is the shade Medium Sand, in the same type of concealer, and I'm just going to add a little bit more. And because I already have so much concealer on my face right now, I'm just going to use this to kind of hit my chin and blend that out. And then I'm going to take that right down the bridge of my nose and on my forehead. That way it gets the concealer more time to sit, like the closer it is right under the eye, and it allows me to just kind of spread it around. So I'm utilizing this concealer in more than one spot so I don't have so much concealer just under my eye. And if you guys see like anything that doesn't look correct around the hairline as far as my wig is concerned, did she tack it down? No, she did not. Mind your business. Guys, I'm really feeling myself right now. So I don't know if you guys saw when I originally tried out these products from e.l.f. I really set myself up for a whole lot of failure. So I'm not going to do that today. Instead, I'm going to go in with my Black Opal Beautiful Bronze. Well, it's called the Black Opal True Color Foundation Stick, but it's in the shade Beautiful Bronze. This has become my favorite and go-to cream contour. I personally like to do more cream bronzing than like strictly contouring. I feel like because I am so golden, I just don't like as much the look of something that's very cool toned on my face. To me, it just looks less natural, and I don't know, my skin, on at least in my opinion, in my humble opinion, my skin just does not, my skin tone, I should say, my skin tone does not look as complimented when I'm not giving it all the warmth that it needs. That's for me, like, that's why even with eyeshadows, like if I'm going to use something cool toned, I need to either mix a warm in there somewhere, or I need to have them to be very cool toned warms, or I just don't use a cool tone. And it goes the same way with this. I know that a lot of people like to do, you know, a cooler tone to contour, although I feel like we're kind of leaning away from that. I feel like we are kind of in general getting more towards, just regardless of your skin tone, doing things that are a little bit more warm, just to kind of like make it look a little bit more natural with that bronziness, you know, and the bronziness is giving you the angles that you want as well, like the shape that you want. But that's just what I really like to do. I just feel like it looks prettier on me. It looks more natural. I look more sun-kissed. And when I try to use something that's a little bit too cool toned, I just look a hot mess, you know? Even I have like one contour powder that I use on a regular basis, maybe two if you count the one in the Makeup by Tammi palette, because I do use that palette very often, but I don't reach for the contour powder in there that often. But I use the Chocolate Soleil matte bronzer from Too Faced to do like contouring if I'm going to use a contour powder, and that itself is not a contour powder, it's a bronzer. It's just a lighter shade of a bronzer that works better as a contour on me. So that's all just to say that's why I like to go in with bronzer rather than like a cool toned contour situation, because that's just not how I like my makeup to look on me, you know? Everybody's different, everybody has their preferences, and that's mine. That's my preference. All right, now that we are nice and bronzed, we can go in and do a little bit of setting of the face. I want to go in with the e.l.f. Halo Glow setting powder. I really liked the setting powder when I tried it out, and I think that it's going to work quite nicely. Rude. I think it's going to work great. Okay, words are not my friends today, apparently. Okay. I want to try the e.l.f. I want to go in with the e.l.f. Halo Glow setting powder because I just liked it the last time I used it, and I just feel like that's the vibe for today. So that's what we're using. Plain and simple. Mine is in the shade medium, I believe. And I like this powder because it definitely sets your makeup. It definitely does that. But it's not like super matte. Like, it's matte, but it's not like uber matte to the point where you're like, my skin has now dried out and I can feel the Sahara Desert just slowly forming on my face. You don't get that. So I recently watched Jackie Aina's newest video when she was talking about how we used to do makeup versus how we do it now. And as far as like how makeup was done in 2010 versus how it's done now. And I was watching it and I was thinking, oh my God, I want to do that video. And then I realized I can't because I didn't wear makeup in 2010. I think the most I wore was like mascara and maybe on occasion a little bit of eyeliner. Like, I really wasn't allowed to wear makeup. So I didn't have that luxury. Like, I was like in high school and I didn't wear makeup. So I can't really do a how I did makeup in 2010 or how I did makeup because I didn't do it. I didn't do it at all. Now, I would be interested in maybe like 10 years from now, like in 2030, doing a, you know, how I did makeup 10 years ago and seeing how much that has changed, be it on this platform or just like to myself. All right, so now that the face and the concealer area are set, I'm going to set the rest of the face down. This is not technically an affordable product, but it's a more affordable product. It retails for like, I think it's like $23, but it's very similar to a product that I know is from NYX. I don't have that product, but NYX is so expensive nowadays, and that's still counted as like drugstore makeup. So this is the Sephora Micro Smooth Powder in the shade Matte Tan 40. I love this, and I'm just going to use this to just lightly set the rest of my face. Okay, so for bronzer today, I'm going in with the Black Radiance Pressed Powder. This is in the shade Beautiful Bronze, I believe. I think I just like, yeah, Beautiful Bronze. I've used this up clearly, as you guys can see. I love this. Also, I'm sure the lighting has changed. I do use natural lighting as like my third light, but my third light has since disappeared because it is getting later and the sun is going down earlier. So we're just gonna roll with a slightly darker screen. It's fine. This bronzer, by the way, is the business. It is so good, so pretty, very pigmented, because it's not even technically a bronzer. It's technically, as it says, a pressed powder. But like, aren't all powder bronzers just pressed powders, right? Am I right? Like, they're all technically pressed powders. And we all know that you can use makeup in a multitude of ways, and this is what I like to do because this is just such a beautiful, beautiful product. A little bit goes a long way. It's so soft and it's so pigmented and it's so beautiful. I'm just gonna add a teensy bit of bronzer to like the sides of my nose, a little bit to give it a little bit of a contour, but really just because I feel like it just looks a little bit better when everything is all kind of like blended together and you see colors kind of running through. So I feel like, you know, having a little bit of that bronzer shade right here is just going to make everything look even better. Okay, this Profusion like liquid glitter is doing things to me. It's so beautiful and I can't. It's giving me like Arabian Nights, and I don't mean necessarily Aladdin, I mean like the book Arabian Nights. If you look at the cover of it, it's kind of what it's reminding me of. All right, now we can go in and do a little bit of blush. I thought long and hard about what blush I want to use today, and I think I'm gonna go in with this one because it is like a little peachy, so I feel like it's going to just work. I could go in with an orange blush today, but I'm also like, will that be too much? So I'm going to go in with this Note Cosmetics blush in the shade Desert Rose. Now, in the UK, I believe Note Cosmetics is far more expensive than it is here, but I found this at Walmart for like $9 or something. Like, not this particular one. This one I got in like a subscription box, but I found it online at Walmart for like $9 somewhere. I haven't used this blush in a long time, and it is pretty. It is quite fragrant, so if you're not used to that, you might be like, but it's very pretty. And I love this color. I think this is the right choice for sure. And y'all know I like to put a little bit of blush on my nose, just on the tip of my nose. We're not discussing what I just said. All right, we're gonna spray our faces, or I'm gonna spray my face. I don't know what you guys are doing, but I'm going to spray my face with the e.l.f. Glow Dewy Mist. This is so good. It smells like coconut because it has coconut oil in it and argan oil, and it's just a really nice facial spray. It is gonna make it dewy now, it is, but it's like a controllable dewy, like a cute dewy, not like I'm literally sweating my face off dewy, you know? What's great about this is that my face looks beautiful on camera, but it also looks good in person, and we love that. All right, so now we need to do some highlighting. So I'm going to be picking up this gigantic, like this is just a lot, honestly. This is a lot. Unless you're doing clients, you know, you have to admit that this is a lot if it's just for you. I admit it for me. But this is the Revolution Pro HD Amplified Palette, and it comes with 8 pans. And in these 8 pans, you have a blend of highlights and some blushes and one like shimmery bronzer. It's actually quite nice. It is quite nice. It's just a lot, especially if you have a bunch of other highlights like I do, but that's fine. We're good with that. Okay, I'm going to pick up the shade Extra and the shade Snatched, but I'm going to pick up the shade Extra and the shade Snatched, but what I'm going to do is take this little golden part of the shade Snatched and this part of Extra, well, just Extra in general, and I'm going to just kind of blend those together to create my perfect little highlight shade. And I'm just popping that down the bridge of the nose a bit, just a shade Extra this time, and right at my cupid's bow, and then just a dab on my chin. And if you guys are like, I don't want to look that glowy, that's fine, you don't have to, but I just happen to like how this looks, so that's why I did it. But you guys do what works for you. All right, so I need to pop up my false lashes still, obviously, because we are not quite done, but I'm going to just do I'm going to do that off camera. I'm also going to do the lower lash line, and then I'm going to show you guys the lip option, and we're gonna wrap up this video. All right, you guys, so now I'm just going to finish up with the lips. So I'm going to be picking up my ColourPop BFF3 liner. As you guys know, this is very well loved and I'm almost out of it. I need to get another one. I'm just going to line my lips. All right, and for my lipstick today, I'm going to be going in with the NYX Suede Matte Lipstick in the shade Dainty Days, which is such a pretty lip color. And then just back in with a little bit more of that lip liner. Just because I've been really loving this gloss lately and I feel like this look could use a little bit of an extra oomph from a gloss, I'm going to add in the e.l.f. lip lacquer in the shade Fantasy. This is so pretty. All right, you guys, so I'm so happy with how this look turned out. It's so beautiful. It's stunning. I did my own version of it. It doesn't look exactly how Katie's looked, but I'm happy with it. I think it looks good, and we did it. We slayed it. So with that being said, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you are not subscribed already. Hit the notification bell while you're at it so you never miss an upload. Make sure to comment down below and let me know what you thought, if you guys discovered any new products, if you guys were inspired to pick up some products you might already have in your collection. Remember that it's totally fine to mix and match eyeshadow palettes, see what products work well together, what products don't. You might really just surprise yourself. With that being said, thank you guys again so much for watching this video. I truly had a blast, and I will see you guys in my very next one. Bye, my loves.
Say my name until the city burns and the stars fade away and your scars don't hurt. Stay with me until the last